Apple Card is the credit card created by Apple. You earn 3% daily cash back up front when you use it to buy a new iPhone 15, AirPods, or any products at Apple. And you can automatically grow your daily cash at 4.15% annual percentage yield when you open a high-yield savings account. Apply for Apple Card in the Wallet app on iPhone. Apple Card subject to credit approval. Savings is available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility. Savings accounts by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. Terms apply.
Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Welcome to Scarlet's Fever, the home of Saucepan Central and Westerer is Besterer.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Scarlet's Fever with me, Lee G. Joining me as always is Huw and Martyn. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
All right. So for those of you that are wondering why I'm having a little giggle to myself, is because Martyn just told us, literally as we were about to start, that he's on his phone and he's forgotten his charger and he's got 13% left on his battery. 11 now. Right, Mark, go do your community rundown quick, man.
Okay, it's gonna be done differently today because there were many results this week and I need to go through them as fast as I can. So I'm just skipping all the way through. We got one result from Championship West. Ammanford winning 31-27 away to Tartar Steel. Division 1 West, Buryport beating One Eyelid 42-21 at home. 1 West Central, Brynaman lost 31-15 away to Kenvigill. Division 2 West, Milford beat Lampeter 15-13 at home. Massive win, that one. Division 2 Cup, Llanarn have been awarded a walkover over Amman United. Not too sure how that came about. Swansea Uplands did beat Tenby 22-15, so that is the end of our involvement in the Division 2 Cup. No games in 3 West A or 3 West B. Just the one game in Division 3 Cup went ahead. Tumble losing away to Colwyn Bay 23-21. 2 walkovers against Pembroke Quins and New Dock Stars. So that's 3 Division 3 teams out of 3 so far. And then into Division 5 West Central, Pontiac won 21-20 away to Fall Bay. Awesome, they're back on it. Now, the Youth Cup, Tumble lost 17-25 at home to Gasainan. And there was another game, but I haven't logged it down. I'm very, very sorry. I will find it. Lampeter beat Kyleon and St. Julian's, but I haven't got the score in front of me. I'm really sorry. Into the schools rugby, the Lawrence Miller Bowl has finished. Llanelli against Merthyr. I can't find a result anywhere. I've been ringing the club. I've been ringing everyone I know in attendance. No one is answering. So hopefully that means a Llanelli win. The Morgan Griffiths Plate is currently playing right now. I'm assuming it's coming up to half time. And the Dewar Shield final is this Wednesday, the 6th, 3 p.m. in the Millennium. Mynydd Mawr and Evu, first ever final against Bridgend. If you can get there, go and support them. Fixtures for this week is cup action for a lot of teams and including the Premiership. So it's quarter-final time and Llandyfri are hosting Aberavon and Carmarthen Quins are away to Merthyr. Championship West, we got some league action. Ammanford travel to Dunvant. Llangennech against Crymych, nice little derby, but there. Narberth travel to Trebanos. Newcastle Emlyn were supposed to have a game against Brecon, but Brecon have a wedding, so apparently that's a good enough reason to postpone a game.
This is the second game that's been cancelled for a wedding this season.
Yeah, Trimsaran early in the season.
That's surely... Is it a Mormon wedding and they're all getting married?
No, I don't know about this. Apparently, if you give enough notice, it's okay in the WIU's eyes, but we'll leave them to that. Fixtures for Division 1 West, we got Vellinville at home to Pontarddulais, Buryport travelling to Gowerton, Kidwelly at home to Aberystwyth, Whitland at home to Llanelli Wanderers, and Hendy at home to Pencloud. In 1 West Central, Brynaman on the road again against Nantes. Nantes. I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm going too fast. My mouth is gone. Into 2 West, Army United against Lampeter, Milford at home to Fishguard, Nancaredig at home to Carmarthen Athletic, to Christ travel to Ponteberem, and Tenby travel to St Clair's. 3 West Day, we got Llanybydder at home to Haverfordwest, Neyland at home to Pembroke Quins, and St David's at home to Langham. Biggest game of the year, that is, St David's and Langham. But what colours who? Who's who? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's always a dodgy one. Division 3 West B, just the one game is Binya against New Dock Stars. The Division 3 Cup, we got 7 of the fixtures still to play. Pembroke away to all the Division 3 clubs are away. So Pembroke against Abercrave, Larne going to Abertoise. Yeah, my mouth's gone already. Away to the same team. Betters travelling to Cardiff Quins, Llandilo, Nanconwy Seconds, Cardigan, Nantagloa, Cefnathan against Pennygraig, Llandibby against Rumney. Then into Division 5 Cup, and it's the same again. Pennybank travelling to Cardiff Saracens, and Pantifunan travelling to Ruthin Seconds. And if we just quickly skim back to 3 West B, Trimsaran don't have a game this week, and it's not because of the Cup. It's because Penygrice have announced they are withdrawing from the WRU leagues for the rest of the season. So it's a very, very sad day for rugby and for everyone around Penygrice. Really hoping that they get the numbers back and they can rejoin the league next season.
I think you get 1 season grace, don't you? If you fail to honour X amount of fixtures for 1 season, then you kind of get a warning, and then if you don't do it for the 2nd season, then you are no longer a club. But so, couple of things I need to pick up with you. Yeah, did you say you were looking for the score of the Llanelli Schools game?
Yes.
Right. So Llanelli Schools 29. Who were they playing?
Merthyr.
Yeah, Merthyr Schools. That would be right. Yeah, 27. So they're Llanelli won 29-27.
Come on!
Or have you ever seen him that excited, Huw?
Am I celebrating? Do I support
I've been bouncing for that game. I'm probably going to go for it again on Wednesday, but at least there's a live stream of that.
See if you can see it.
Oh, loving it.
There you go, man.
I've been bloody posting over Twitter for the last half hour. Give me the results, somebody.
Yeah, it's on the WRU community page on there. And the other thing I got to pick up with you, Pembroke Dock Quins. Now, this is very different to Pembroke. Pembroke Rugby Club, Pembroke Dock Harlequins. 2 very different clubs that hate each other. And I have had the pleasure of being involved with both. So, yeah, and if I don't correct you, I won't be able to walk around Pembroke Dock again, and I will be expelled from the town.
I said Pembroke Quins.
Exactly. It's not Pembroke Quins. Pembroke
But
Dock.
that's how you wrote them.
No, I didn't. This is Pembroke Dock. I call them Quins. I just write Quins.
No, you've written Pembroke Quins on my spreadsheet. That's why I've left it.
I haven't written on your spreadsheet.
I had Pembroke Dock written down. Nothing else. You changed it to Pembroke Quins.
I just write Quins.
I'm going by you a lead here, but this is all on you, Lee.
Right. Pembroke Dock Harlequins, Pembroke Rugby Club. That's
okay. And on that, I'm on 1%. I'm glad I've done my community game. Scarlets were awesome. Johan Lloyd's going to be Welsh 10 because Costy's not fit. I'm going to see how long I can stay out, but when I disappear, you all know why. It's because I'm a dickhead that didn't bring his charger.
Go on, you keep talking and tell us about the Scarlets game.
Tell us about the Scarlets game. Well, Ellis Jenkins is a bit of a knob. Shouldn't have. That should never have happened. He had a choice. All this talk about he's not that type of player. Nobody is anymore. So there's no point in talking about that. Dan Davis jumping it. No, he was getting over Steph. Yeah, he was landed awkward. He had a choice. He could have driven him backward or lifted him. He lifted him. The moment he lifted that elbow up even slightly, you knew exactly what was going to happen. And it is what it is. It was a red all day. Even at that point, 12 minutes into the game, we were looking pretty disastrous. Why am I going blurry again? But, the next 68, we were massively on top. And even going into that red card, we'd fought 2 tries, 1 converted back, and we were in the ascendancy. So, we were winning that game either way, in my honest opinion. I think Cardiff threw everything they had at us in that first block, and that's all they could come away with.
Okay. And your predictions for this weekend then, away in Castra?
Yeah, it's going to be a win for the Scarlets, obviously, because the Scarlets always win, especially when I say they're going to win. Castra doing really well in the top 14. They're currently 3rd. They've had 6 wins from 9. So I think we're going to be a little bit fortunate. I think they're going to rotate a couple of players, so they're there for the taking. We're going to go for it. I'm not going to do a store prediction because I haven't done any preparation on what cast scores or team sheets have been like. All I'm going to say is the Scarlets are winning. We're getting the bonus point, and we're coming home happy to smash some Georgian scum the next week.
Scum? I think that's a little harsh, Matt.
I haven't much time, so I've got to get everything out. No, Georgia are a lovely, lovely country, and they got lovely rugby players. But no, we're going to beat the shit out of them. End of. That's how it's going. That's how I'm feeling this week. I'm a little bit happier now.
So you feel more comfortable now. Basically, we should do that every week and just let you do the first kind of 10, 15 minutes on your own. And go bang, 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 and then you're done.
Get everything out.
Yeah, just get everything off your chest and just get it all done. What percentage are you on now?
I've been on 1% for about 5 minutes.
Right. Okay. So you're about to disappear at any moment. So
into the abyss. I'm going to fall down a hole again. Huw, make sure you're watching.
Well, I thought I was on mute. I'm not. I'm trying to make the thumb thing happen. Isn't happening.
Yeah, that's weird.
My work phone goes down to 1% and it stays there for a day. So
really?
You might, yeah.
You might last the whole session, Matt. Okay.
Nice.
So, Huw, tell us. First of all, tell us about the vlog with Harley and how many times you stopped at Greg's this time. And then why you got lost in Cardiff, your complete inability to find a car park, and then tell us about the game.
I found a car park. The problem was not that I didn't find a car park. So I got to Cardiff in plenty of time, and Harley said, go to the NCP car park on Knox Street. I was like, cool. And I put that on my sat nav and I went there. And so I was about a mile away. I was about a mile away from the car park, and it took me half an hour to do that 1 mile.
Yeah, it's Cardiff.
And it was completely stopped. And I got Harley ringing me, and he's obviously thinking, what's taking so long? Anyway, turns out it was the wrong NCP car park on Knott Street. Apparently there's another one, which I would have sailed right up to had I been in the right lane for that. Well, I wasn't. I was going to the other one. And it was an absolute nightmare. It took me an hour to park in Cardiff. But eventually Harley came and found me, and then it was all okay.
That's normal. And it depends on how old your sat nav is. I swear every 3 years they change all the one-way streets in Cardiff just to piss you off. It's annoying as hell.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Or they rediscover a canal under the street and then dig up the street so you can't drive on it anymore because there's a canal there now. That's quite cool as well.
So anyway, apart from that, it was a nice day out. Cardiff is always a nice day out because it's all so small and everything's on top of each other. Had a bit of a wander around the town, went in a couple of shops, didn't buy anything because I ain't got any money. Stopped for a pint.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a sec. There's a reason you don't have any money. It's because someone's not willing to sponsor the adventures of Huw.
What, Greg's?
Yeah, Greg's.
No, it's the other guy that's sitting on millions from all these podcasts, and he won't even share, 100 quid to give you a bit of petrol money. Like, it's terrible.
I wish. If I had the money, I'd sponsor myself a haircut. Is what I'd do. But, yeah.
So, the three of us, there's only one of us that needs a haircut. Come on.
No, but you've got your big girly hairband to keep everything in place. Mine
No,
is
it's not you. I haven't had a hairband for a little while now. The bauble's coming back soon. It's just a
uh,
little. It's just a little rat tail at the minute, but it's going to turn into a full pony soon.
you can't tell because you keep going blurry, so you could just
I blame the phone.
yeah. When you go blurry, you look proper Shabal like now. When it's
Oh,
blurred,
Shabal, I like
yeah,
it.
yeah.
No, Castro Giovanni, now Shabal. I'm happy with these comparisons.
No, and then you come back into focus and you look like
Don't
Lawrence
say
Llewellyn
anything.
Bowen. Yeah, there you go. See, Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen. Yeah, you just need to twist the sides there. You flick between the two, Mark. It's a unique talent that you have, mate. Honest. Don't look so impressed.
I haven't frozen. I'm just grinding my teeth.
So Huw, first of all, then, so tell us about your pint in Tiny Rebel because you had a pint of like orange stuff, didn't you?
No, Harley had the orange stuff. I had the Crutch Club, which I think is the red Welsh ale, Welsh Red it was called, or something like that. And
Yeah.
it was nice. It was quite bitter, but I like it. I like beery beers. I think me and Jamie have got opposite tastes in beer. He likes quite fruity ones. I like quite beery ones.
Mm.
I like a beery beer.
Yeah,
No, I do. Some people don't like beery beer.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and then went into Arms Park. First experience at Cap. Not as posh a facility as Parky Scarlets, I have to say. It was very homely, I guess we could say, but it did leave you wondering if we do have to evacuate in an emergency, are we all making it? But I'm sure that do I have to put an allegedly on that? I'm sure that they've passed all of the regulations. I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. But Parky Scarlets is much more modern. But yeah, stood there freezing my toes off, and watch the Scarlets win. So I'm now 4 from 4 watching the Scarlets in person.
See, I'm liking that. I think we use Huw sparingly now, and he only goes to games where it's a must-win situation.
Yeah, he's going to Cardiff this week.
yeah. Mudrak's been on the phone. He'd quite like you to go to cast as a lucky mascot for the weekend.
On a serious note, half of what you just said is true. He has had Mudrak on the phone.
Yes,
No.
That's because he was going, Huw, I'm lost. Can you tell me where the car park is, mate? So, what did you actually make of the game, Huw? What did you think of it?
It was a game of 4 quarters, to elaborate on a well-trodden phrase. So the first quarter, Cardiff were well on top. Second quarter, we came storming back into it. Third quarter, Cardiff got on top. And final quarter, we ran away with it. It's we had. I don't think, I said when we lose, I don't want to be the guy who goes, oh, we've lost, sack everybody. But similarly, when we win, I don't want to be the guy that says we're going to win the World Cup. So it still wasn't a brilliant performance, I don't think. I think I agree with Martyn that we would have won regardless of the red card or not, because I think we'd got them back on top, and I think Cardiff kind of fell apart. Now, normally, a flanker is the easiest player to go without if you do get a red card. It's normally easiest. But I think Alice Jenkins, for his leadership and for his work over the ball, was a real miss for Cardiff, and we just had carte blanche of the breakdown from then on. But we just ran everything. Like, if you watch the game and split it into those quarters, we lost the first quarter. What happens in that first quarter? A lot of set pieces, a lot of lineouts, a lot of scrubs, and we lost that first quarter. Second quarter, we got a bit of momentum, and they got the red card, and we had a bit of period of possession, and they didn't adjust and things, and we ran in a few tries. Third quarter, Cardiff kicked the leather off it, and they got well on top of us doing that. They won the kicking duel easily. Anyone who's listened to me talking on these podcasts will have heard me say that several times, that our kicking game still doesn't exist. And final quarter, we got momentum again. Cardiff made some funny decisions from their game management, and we just he's gone.
He's gone.
So yeah, Johan Lloyd obviously being the talk of the game, official man of the match, he just ran everything. 22, hang on, stats.
Didn't he run as much as he passed? Harley said he
22 passes, 21 carries, and 1 offload. So it was very close. But I was saying to Harley in the grounds, I was like, he's at the bottom of a ruck again. He's at the bottom of a ruck again. And the more I watch him, the more and more I realize he's a fullback. He doesn't play like a 10. He plays like a fullback.
Do you think?
And as sorry,
do you think so, or it's his defensive stuff? I'm not. I know what you mean about he likes to run the ball. Yeah, I think we've all seen that. Isn't that the way we play at the Scarlets? Do you know what I mean? It's
kind of, but this is like an extreme case of it. Like no one was saying about Sam Costello, oh, he doesn't do all these amazing things, and Sam's got that extra side to his game. But Johan literally just runs everything. Like, and he got some really good joy out of it at times against Cardiff. I don't think he's going to get that every week. But even it wasn't just Johan as well. Like Johnny McNichol had his best game of the season so far, probably, and he was just running everything as well. I think possibly Gareth Davis is doing quite a lot of heavy lifting in terms of game management at the moment, because obviously Johan's not stood in the line organising the defence. Organising the attack. Something else that me and Harley talked about was if you look at most teams now when they attack, you got everyone's seen it. It's the pod of 3 with a back out behind. We don't do that. It's just a line of players across the pitch. It's sort of almost Super Rugby style. So maybe it just doesn't need very much organising, which enables Johan to take contact a lot more. But I just the way he plays, and he is good under the high ball, which we haven't seen that much of. He is good jumping up in the air and reclaiming it. I feel like he just plays like a 15. It reminds me a bit of when Toulouse, for some reason, played Cheslin Colby at 10 for 2 games. And it's just like a guy who's not a 10 playing at 10. It's like, amazing.
They keep giving me the ball. Look at it. This is great.
Yeah. And like it worked in this game. Like I'm not knocking him, and he is getting better every game. I keep saying that because it's still true. But yeah, as he's still, I'm being consistent. So every game this season, I've said I would like him to be less at the bottom of rucks and more organising the attack. And I'm not going to change that just because we won, even though I am happy that we did win. But like I said, Gareth Davis really is enabling him at the moment in terms of being the one to step in and run the game. So Gareth Davis played the full 80, 105 passes for Gareth Davis. That shows just how we would just play, jouer. 2 tries, 1 try assist, 77 metres, 3 defenders beaten from 11 carries. He is probably the best 9 in the UK at the moment. And I think there's a lot of Scarlets fans at the end of the game were saying, well, he's shown Thomas Williams a thing or two in that game. And I think Thomas had quite a good game. And I think Thomas has got into his head that, no, I am a 10. And so he keeps trying like cross-field kicks and things. That's interesting. Do you want me to keep talking about players? Because I've got a couple more I want to mention.
Yeah, go on. You do your bit, then I'll do my bit, and then.
Okay, so Johnny Williams. So before the game, and I said this on the preview with Harley, my Twitter DMs were like some kind of Scarlet Samaritans service of people messaging me like, "Oh my God, Johnny Williams is at 13. What are we going to do? It's all over." But it wasn't. Cardiff didn't test him. So here's a stat for Cardiff about you. Ray Lilo, 1 carry, no passes in 60 minutes on the pitch. He didn't get the ball.
No, and he got stuffed a couple of times by the alleged crash ball king stepping him, inside him, outside him, standing up and going outside it. I mean,
Yeah, Johnny swatted aside Halaholo a couple of times as well, as if he were nothing. But yeah, Johnny showed a distribution game that I just simply didn't know he had. So 13 passes and 2 offloads compared to 12 carries. That's not what you think of when you think of Johnny Williams, is it? What else did he have? 67 metres, 1 try assist, 2 defenders beaten, 1 clean break. So yeah, aside to Johnny that we haven't seen, and it does sound like Joe is going to be out for a little while. So it'll be interesting to see him get a run in the 13 jersey. Like I said, Cardiff didn't test him at all, and I think that's a missed opportunity from them. But if that's a nice confidence builder for him and he builds off that, then I'm happy. But player of the match for us, in my opinion, unplayable, Alex Craig. Absolutely. The only thing that he could have done to do more in that game is just go, Johan, I'll take the goal kicks, mate. That's the only thing that he could have done. So let me just so I do my stats in a grid, right? Here for the camera, a grid. The only player who's got a number in every space on the grid is Alex Craig. So he's got 11 carries for 7 meters. He's making the hard yards. 14 out of 14 tackles, making him our top tackler. 2 line-out takes, 1 turnover 1, which I think was a maul turnover. 2 offloads as well. 7 passes. He got a try. He beat 3 defenders. He's a lock. Like I said, the only thing that he could have done was taking over the goal kicking. He is, we put him in a point to prove in our preseason ratings for the players. He's kind of proving that point. I'm not given to hyperbole, as you know, Lee. I don't overhype players, but I think it's fair to say if you were picking a Lions team tomorrow, Alex Craig is the first name on the team sheet.
Yeah, and like you say, we both him and Tom Rogers, we debated long and hard about, are they maximising their potential? And we didn't really know with Alex Craig because he was coming in, and I think that's probably why he ended up there. But we wanted to see what he can do, and you're absolutely right, mate. He is definitely showing what he can do, and loving it. It's a shame that Lousy isn't there. No, I think that's a good thing because they won't look at him because he's not in Scotland and he'll stay with us.
We saw that about Blade Thompson. Blade Thompson didn't even know he was Scottish, let alone the Scarlet. I reckon when we recruited Blade Thompson, if we'd have gone, "Are you Scottish?" he'd have gone, "No."
He'd have gone, "Where? What do you mean? Who is that?
What is a Scotland?"
Yeah. No, it must be.
Yeah.
With Alex Craig taking on so much work in that second row, he needs somebody alongside him, like Fafita, not Fafita, like Plumtree,
Lousy.
but he's injured. Lousy, injured, allegedly. So yeah, do you know what I mean? We need something. We need somebody there to do it with him. And I think was it Jack Price was second row on Saturday. Thought he did all right. Yes. Yeah, I thought he did okay. In all honesty, it's just not necessarily outstanding. So yeah, I think there's a lot more to come. Put it that way. A lot more.
I wouldn't mind seeing Fafita go back in next to him because I think it was very harsh that we dropped both Leatherbarrow and Ben Williams from the starting team, to be honest. So I wouldn't mind seeing Fafita go back into the row.
So inside centre, talk to me about inside centre. Inside, yeah. So still an academy player and playing alongside Johnny Williams. Eddie James is 6'4", I think. Johnny Williams is 6'3". One is 16 stone, one is 17 stone. Both quite nippy. As a centre partnership, that's a pretty scary prospect when you've got such a wee little diddy bloke inside you, and it doesn't matter which one we put out.
Yeah.
And then like the little guy just gets to give it to two of the really big guys that run at you really fast. That's quite a scary prospect, really, isn't it?
Scary prospect, ball in hand, definitely. I don't think for a second that Joe Roberts should lose his place when he's back fit because it's without the ball that Joe shows his strength compared to other centres in Wales. But yes, and Eddie is really encouraging. I think it was our 4th try. He did a big classic crash ball 12 carry off a line out, and we were on the front foot from there. And I think Harley pointed out to me as well that he was involved in a couple of nice passes as well in that move. And so, yeah, and, Steph Thomas wrote for Wales Online that he's in the top 5 players that Warren Gatland will be watching. I'm not sure about that. I would like to see him do at least a full season of regional rugby before anybody thinks about getting him into the Wales camp. But yeah, I vouched for when Joe was fit and Eddie and Johnny were vying for the 12 jersey against the Ospreys. I said go with Eddie because I think him and Joe is a combination that works really nicely. Even though, like I said at the time, Johnny and Joe also worked together very well at the end of last season. So I think that's it, and it might give us a bit of a headache. And some people have been talking about when Joe is back, do you keep Eddie at 12 and move Johnny Williams to the wing, a la Mason Grady? Because our wing options aren't. I think if you had Tom on one wing and Johnny Williams on the other, I think that's you got a lot of skills covered in those two wingers. And then you give yourself a headache when Sam comes back and what do you do with Yohan? But on that subject, go on, sorry. You first.
No, I was going to say, if you talk about wingers and you want a strong, bulky, hard-running winger, then you just bring Combi back because he's also got the speed. Where Johnny Williams doesn't necessarily have it.
I think Johnny physically outstrips Ryan in most things. To be honest, I don't know what the speed differentials are. I got it in my head that Johnny is bigger, but I think that would be a nice combo. I was just going to say another thing in this game. Again, we didn't use substitutes, so we only used 5 subs. We replaced both props, and I think we replaced 1 second row. And Teddy Leatherbarrow came on with like 3 minutes to go, and Johan Nicholas came on. But again, we didn't change the halfbacks, and we didn't change Ryan Elias.
And I've not necessarily got a problem with that. If they're playing well, then they stay on. To me, if they're fit enough and they can stay on, then yeah, let them carry on. Don't change them for the sake of changing them. If they're knackered and they're out on their feet, then yeah, fair enough. But tradition is that you use all of the bench now. When I was first playing, you had to fake an injury if you wanted to be substituted. So it's a relatively new kind of system of having to use everybody off the bench. There are still plenty of us around that remember the 15 players that start or the 15 players that finish. And there's actually a school of thought that says that was better because the head contact was less. Players were more focused on the fitness side of it than the aggression and collision, because you had to if you couldn't last 80, then you were a liability. Whereas now if you're a front row and you can last 60 or 40 even, if you've got 2 props that can last 40, then you're doing okay. So I've not necessarily got a problem with it. What I've got a problem with is Ryan Combier is playing well. Last time we saw him was playing really well and hasn't had a look in. And
something's gone on there to me. I don't know what it is, but it feels like he was one of our best players last season, and as far as we're aware, his form hasn't dropped off. So what's happened?
It's odd. Yeah. But one of those questions that we need answers to, which brings me to an interesting point. So last night I spoke to Crease 16, the lovely Rachel from Crease 16, and we spoke about what Crease 16 does and why Crease 16 is a good thing. So what I would say to people is when we talk about asking difficult questions, Crease 16 is in that position to ask difficult questions of the club. And it's free to join. It's you can make a donation if you want to. It's all legal and above board and all that kind of stuff. They've got constitutions and elections and all of this kind of stuff. So it's a proper full-on organization and well worth joining up. well worth listening to our conversation on the bonus pod that we released yesterday. So if you are, thinking, why isn't the club doing this? Why isn't the club doing it? That's the route to ask the question on there. So anyway, that was a nice little segue. Yeah. So anything else from the game, mate? Any interesting or funny numbers from the game?
No, I'm all numbered out. I think, like I said, the problems that we've had, I don't think were solved. I don't think the things that we were bad at, we were good at in this game. As in, our set piece was still very ropey. Like the first line out was not straight, and I'm thinking, oh, come on, Ryan, man. And look, there was still no kicking game. Like I said, the periods of the game that Cardiff did better at was when it was set piece heavy and when it was kick heavy. And they got on top quite comfortably in both those periods. So yeah, I'm happy that we won, but I'm kind of, without trying to sound like too hipstery about it, this season I'm kind of looking at performances more than results. I kind of feel like our best performance this season so far is still the defeat to the Lions. I still think that's the best we've played this season. So other than that, can we play Cardiff every week?
Yeah, I asked Harley that. I said I've heard a rather nice rumour that we're just going to play Cardiff 16 times in the season and see how we get on. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you in the sense that there's what we've been really good at in the past is papering over the cracks with a couple of victories, and I think we're at a stage now where we have to acknowledge that there are issues, acknowledge that there's stuff within the club that needs changing. Straight away, as soon as we put stuff out on social media this week, one of the first replies that you'll always get is, all we need to do is get rid of the name Scarlets and just be Llanelli again. And I'm like, oh, fuck off. It's that, I think that's part of the problem, if I'm honest. This idea that we were great in the 60s and 70s and 80s. The club Llanelli that existed back then had a fantastic run of form in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Yeah. And that isn't the case now.
Llanelli RFC still reigning Welsh Scottish League champions.
Probably are, yes.
No, they are for a fact. I looked it up.
Yeah. See, you just do research that nobody else even thinks of. But
it's because I was pissing off Munster fans because they do the whole our day something as champions, and the Springboks do the our day something as champions. I've been doing really obscure ones. So I've done us as day whatever it is, reigning Pro 12 champions. I've done Benetton reigning Rainbow Cup champions. I've done Australia 2011 reigning Tri Nations champions, and Llanelli RFC are reigning Welsh Scottish League champions.
Wow. I suppose Scotland are reigning 5 Nations champions.
I'm not doing that one.
That's beyond that one. Yeah. Oh, anything to piss off a couple of Irish fans has got to be a good thing in my book. So, yeah. What was I saying before? You feel I've gone completely off track now. You
about people saying Llanelli, we should just be called Llanelli.
Oh, yeah. So, we're in a very different place now, and I think there are still people with influence inside the club that are like, no, we should just be Llanelli, and that'll make everything okay.
I think Cardiff have made this a lot worse with what they've done.
Yeah, and they've had you can see the animosity from the rest of the Cardiff, region. There isn't a Cardiff region. The Cardiff were arrogant enough to say, we don't need a region. We're just going to stand on our own, and everyone around us is going to want to come and play for us. And what happens then is everyone around you go, well, you don't care about us, so somebody else has offered us a contract and we're going to go there because they actually want us to go there.
So not that long ago, all the regions did have place names in them. Obviously, Cardiff have always been Cardiff Blues, but right at the beginning, Ospreys were Neath Swansea Ospreys. Dragons were Newport Gwent Dragons. According to Rugby Pass, Dragons are still called Gwent Dragons. A bit like, according to Rugby Pass, we're still playing the Pro 14.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were the Llanelli Scarlets.
Yes.
For a few years. So it would be backtracking. I'm going to make an admission. Before I started doing this pod with you and Martyn, I was a bit like, yeah, just call it Nethley, why not? And I have changed my opinion, having spoken to you and having understood a bit more about it. In that, and the point you were making last week about how we're a region and we represent the north of Wales as well and things like that, is it's not like Nethley isn't like Swansea, Cardiff, and Newport. This is exactly the point that you made. We're not a city. We're actually a town and quite a small one. Whereas Nethley are, sorry. So to say, oh no, we only represent this, I think Llanelli makes up what, a third of the population of Carmarthenshire, and then like obviously about the same proportion of Pembrokeshire. So I do think it is a different situation. So like I said, I was on the page of just call it Llanelli, and I have changed my mind, having gotten it more involved with the region.
And the thing is, we're digressing a little, but okay, it's good. If you took the club and the stadium, and you put it in Carmarthen or Aberystwyth, what like they do in the Irish regions, every now and again they'll play in a different ground. All right, so we don't have different grounds, but if we had a ground in Aberystwyth that could be used, I think
we get a good crowd in Aberystwyth because of the students.
Well, yeah, and it's a rarity thing, isn't it? Like one of the best games we played years and years ago. We played a game in Wrexham. It was really well attended because it was a novelty,
Yeah, but with owning the park, we can't afford to just leave it empty.
No. But what I'm saying is you could play Llanelli Scarlets could sell the ground and play in different. They'd still be so. The Scarlets could do that. Llanelli Scarlets couldn't. Llanelli Scarlets are based in Llanelli, and if you move them somewhere else, then they're not the Llanelli Scarlets. The Scarlets are all about West Wales. Everything from let's be honest, Llanelli is right on the border. It's literally 5, 10, 15 minutes maybe away from Swansea. There's a road that links them directly. You start one end, you're at Llanelli, you finish the other end, you're in Swansea. It takes you maybe 15 minutes to drive that road. So, it's right at the very limit of the region, but it still represents the region. And there are boys who now, when I was growing up down here, we all wanted to play for Swansea, or Neath. Most of us went and played for Neath because it was easier to get to. It's just off the side of the motorway. You look at people like Brian Williams, Kevin Phillips, Roland Phillips, Rob Appleyard. But I went through I named about 10 players the other day that completely bypassed Llanelli. Players from Pembrokeshire bypassed Llanelli and went to Swansea or Neath. And that's because those clubs came looking down this way. Those clubs back in the Llanelli was always very, you play for us and we take the pick of our boys around here because we're amazing and we play a game a certain way and we think this way. Whereas Neath and Swansea were very much a case of, right, we like the look of you. Come and play for us. Come and play at the top level. You're half decent. Come and play with us. We'll show you how to play well. They went out and they courted West Wales, and there's still people around here now that are absolutely hardcore Ospreys fans because when they were 15 or 16, they had a trial for Neath or Swansea, and the club made them feel special, and we never had that with Llanelli. So, for those people that think it's a name thing, no, it's an attitude thing. We were talking last week about the culture, the culture of the club. And I think the club is probably in not a crossroads, but it's in an important point on the road where it needs to commit to being a certain way and behaving in a certain way and encouraging inclusiveness throughout the region And if it pisses off people 2 miles down the road in Llanelli, then that's what happens. You're gonna have to lose a couple of people that go, well, I'll only support Llanelli. You go, okay, well, we're going in a different direction. We're going in a place where we want to be at the top of regional rugby in Europe. And to do that, we need to act as a region and bring in 300,000 people. From a pool of 300,000 people, we want to choose 15 of you to go on the park on Sunday. I think there's about 25,000 people, maybe 30,000 people in Llanelli. We'll select 15 of you. No, it's about spreading that bit a lot bigger. So, yeah, that was one of the comments that we had from the weekend. Should we do 3-word reactions to the weekend now? Should we? Let's do 3 words.
Go on then.
Let's do 3 words, because we had a little bit of a response on Facebook. We had a little bit of a response on Twitter as well. So what I've added into 3-word reactions now is based on what you were doing. So I've gone 3-word reactions or 30-second reactions. So if somebody wants to send us like that 30-second video of, I thought it was this or I thought it was that, social media loves that shit, mate. It really does. It really goes, oh, everybody loves a video. So if people want to send us those, that'll be great. So Gareth says, we'll take that. James says, much needed win. Sean the Sheep says Lloyd was top class. By the way, everyone's got the hang of 3 words now. People have been listening. They've been
excellent. Well done.
Yeah. Paul says positive performance prevails. David said wins a win with an emoji, with one of those emojis. Wins a win.
A win is a win.
Yeah, and you can get away with an emoji. You can have 3 words and then an emoji. That's
an emoji is not a word.
No. It's a collection of pixels. James says everything is okay. I think that's kind of tongue. Yeah. No, I think he's saying that tongue in cheek, as in like
I see. Okay.
I think so. If he's serious, dude. Stephen says red means scarlet, and Andrew says Arms Park Heaven, and then there's an Ospreys fan that keeps commenting that just being a pain in the arse. So so let me have a little look on Twitter. So Paul Leo says wonder never cease. Kevin, never lose faith. Now Mark, I like Mark because Mark is very obviously a Cardiff fan because he's put his blue and black dots on there and he's gone bollocks, bollocks, bollocks. I like that. I think that's honest. That is well done there, mate. Pippa, you're gonna like this as well. Excellent vlog bobbing. So
is that Pippa Griffin?
Yeah, replying
that's my mum.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah, there's the name. Yeah. I think she's got a point. Those boys behind you. Yeah, fair play to them. More of that we need, mate.
Yeah, so I just want to shout it out there quick. If people don't know what we're talking about, because I told you in the chat. Behind us in the second half, we were filming the vlog, and some lads behind us noticed and started doing making hand gestures and all that, giving it the big one. And then the Scarlets scored the 5th try, and the camera caught them all getting up and
we're buggering off.
Just quickly on the crowd, I don't know if you've seen it somewhere else. An attendance number that is knocking around Twitter is 8,000, 8 and a bit thousand. I don't believe that, because that would put Arms Park at just over 2/3 full, and it was definitely more full than that. It was at least, I would say there was at least 9 and a bit thousand in there. It was at least 75% full. So I don't know where that's come from. But to someone's point, never lose faith. It's win, lose or draw. It's still a good day out, guys. And it's not, I say it every time. Everyone's got different budgets. It's not the most expensive thing in the world. And if you can get to Cardiff easily, or you already live in Cardiff, which a lot of people do, including all the Scarlets players, just go for it. It is a laugh, and you go with your mates, and your chances are you do have a mate who's a Cardiff fan or whatever. And it's like I've said to a couple of people recently, now is not the time to be negative because we're at rock bottom. And I don't just mean the Scarlets. I mean Welsh rugby as a whole.
Yeah.
So now is not the time to be negative about it. Now is the time to go, no, this is, without sounding all cheesy and cliche, this is the moment where we as fans have a part to play.
Yeah.
And and go for it. And yeah, no, yeah, just as you know, Lee, I'm a bit anti-negativity at the moment. So, and that by anti, that means against negativity, not your auntie called negativity.
So, the bit I liked about Cardiff was somebody from Cardiff has brought a drum. Yeah, because they were there.
I was stood quite close to him. Brought two drums.
Excellent. Did you not record them?
I should have done. Yeah. Anyway, he had a big bass drum and he had a snare drum, and he hit them both simultaneously.
Excellent. We just need a little bit of practice.
Got a shout out from the PA guy. The PA guy was like, "Hey, drum guy's back."
But it adds a bit of atmosphere. It adds a bit of, and he was going all the way, right the way to the end and all that kind of stuff, and people were reacting to him, and it just brings a bit of fun to the game, a bit of something different, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. We need to go, you know, it's not just going to watch the rugby, it's you're competing against an event now. You know, shall I go? It's not shall I go to watch the rugby, it's shall I go to this event or shall I go to that event, you know? And you have to weigh up the pros and cons, because that old thing of, oh, I must go here and I must do that because, you know, I wear my red shirt and all that kind of stuff. No, that's football. That's
yes,
different,
exactly.
And it's a different mentality, and it's a bit, football's the most important thing on the planet ever, and you're like, no, stop being a dick. So, you know, we have to appeal to people for different reasons. We have to encourage the kids to run down the front and bang on the banners at the front. We need to give them a little bit of space. We need to take away the first row of seats so that a whole load of kids can stand at the front on the banners and just bang on the banners when their team's doing well. Yeah. We need to provide entertainment around the outside of the ground for an hour and 2 hours before the game, so that people go and they're there for 2 hours. Yeah. Or shall I go 10 minutes? I'm a nightmare for it. I'll get there 10 minutes before kickoff. I usually miss kickoff because I'm getting the kids something to eat or something to drink. And I'll get to my seat and then I'll go, oh shit, I need a piss, right? And then I have to disappear back. And I miss the first 20 minutes of the game because I haven't got there in time. I think it's only one game. I made a massive point of getting there early, and we were there like 45 minutes before kickoff, and there was no bugger else there. It was just me and the kids.
I love getting to games early. I like watching all the warm-ups and things.
Yeah, I do too now. But do you know what I mean? We've got to make more of an effort to do other things at the ground. You know, like in Australia, I know it's Australia and stuff, but they have the hot tub. You know, you can dive in the hot tub and all of that kind of stuff on the sidelines. It's bits like that, silly bits like that, that maybe we need to rethink what we mean by, you know, an event, by an entertaining game. So anyway, that's my 2 pence. We went off on a proper tangent there, mate. I don't even remember where we started or how we got there, but yeah, it was good. Anyway, the guy with the drums is good.
Yeah. Have we done all the 3-word comments?
Yeah, that's all the 3-word comments, and the questions were, why can't we change the name back to Scarlet, and is everything okay now? Does that mean everything's back to normal? So, and I think we've covered that one. I don't, you know, any realist will look at it and go, no, because another heavy defeat this weekend, then what we're going to do? We're going to be going, oh, sack Peel again? No, that's not the way forward. I don't believe sacking Peel is the way forward. I don't believe sacking people randomly is the way forward. I think we need a proper targeted approach to the way we're going to do things. And if running the ball, just constantly running every single ball, it is the kind of game
every week.
No, but if that's the game plan that we're going to go with, and overloading wings by dragging people round, you know, if that's the game plan, then right, let's commit to it, and let's put players on the park that actually know. I think half the problem has been is we haven't looked like we knew what was happening next. We kind of stand here, and there were elements in that game on Saturday. We were still like that. We were still kind of looking at each other and going, "What's this? What's that?" So maybe it just takes time for coaching to bed in. I'm not talking about Dwayne Peel. I'm talking about whoever the new backs coach. Do we have a defence coach? Definitely a new forwards coach.
I was talking to a couple of Irish fans, and they were like, "I don't get it because you've got a really good defence coach." And I was like, "Do we?" And he goes, "Yeah, Jared Payne's a really good defence coach." I'm like,
oh yeah, no,
he's our attack coach.
He's our attack coach, yeah. And Gareth Williams is our defence is still shocking, and I don't know why, because Gareth Williams really turned that round last year, and we really upped our game in the second half of the season. So yeah, I don't know why it's gone backwards from where we were last year, but we look forwards. So speaking of looking forwards, let's discuss European fixtures. Let's discuss this Saturday, 3:15, Castra.
I was on Caelan's pod yesterday, and it was me as like the Welsh representative, and there was an English representative on there, and all the rest was Ireland fans. And bloody hell, did I not feel like a guy in a Vauxhall Astras rocked up to a Rolls Royce owners club? Like, they're all talking about, I remember when we won it in 2003 or wherever it is, and like, yeah, I was really disappointed to go out in the semi-final that year. But I'm like, I'm looking forward to a Challenge Cup. We might get to a quarter-final. That'd be nice. I can't relate to this conversation. It was very like, let them eat cake, and I was just there like, yeah, no. I remember that time that we got beat in Dublin. That was all right, I suppose.
It is. We've never had the depth of squads, and I think half of it is if you're a decent player and you're in a squad and there's another decent player there, and someone and we're all like, well, I want to be playing every game.
Yeah.
So they bugger off to another club. So we've never had a team that's got real serious depth across the board, and we develop players and then they go, you can earn a bucket load of money over in England, and they go, okay, off we go. What we usually do as a Scala is we develop them and then we get them to a stage where they're about to really turn into something, and we go, nah, you're a bag of shit, you can fuck off, and we buy somebody in from Tonga. So at some point again, we
do you like Tongans?
I do too, actually. I think they're nice people. All the Tongans that we've had have always given 100% every time they've stepped on the pitch, and
Yep.
they're happy and chatty around the outside and all that. Whereas actually, there are some local boys who are right knobs. You can't win them all. So that's just the way it is. But yeah, I think we haven't set about developing squad depth, put it that way. As soon as we find a decent player, so you look at Alex Craig now. Alex Craig's playing really, really well. So we're going to put him on the pitch and probably burn him out for the next 3, 4, 5 games until he gets to the point where he goes, oh, you know what? Training is really hard. And then we'll go, okay, you can have a couple of weeks off. Instead of going, right, this week you play in 80, next week you play in 60, the week after you're going to come on with 20 minutes left, and then you're going to go back to 80. So and we manage his time, and we manage somebody else's time to come in and build depth. So that's where I think we struggle. So we come up against European class like Castra, who have got strength in depth, albeit some of that has been bought in. Some of that is bought in, but we're really going to struggle on Saturday. Really, really going to struggle in my head. To the point where on the Rap podcast, I said I forecasted a Scarlets win by 1 point. That's as close to it as
that's how bad you think it's going to be.
That's how bad it's going to be, man. We're only going to win by 1 point. But what do you make of it, mate?
Problem number one: it's not on telly. So, yeah, my friend and colleague Ender, aka Rugby Broadcast on Twitter, has been looking into this for Pirate Pod tomorrow, and he sent me a voice note earlier today. Said this is a nightmare. He's trying to figure out where all the matches are on, and he said it's just an absolute nightmare trying to find where all these Challenge Cup games are being played. Someone suggested that some are on Viaplay. Obviously, you get the odd one on S4C. So our game against Black Lions on S4C. Our game against Claremont. So I'm on the EBCR website, and it does have the broadcasters against it.
Mm-hmm.
So Black Lion is on S4C, BN Sports, and Flow Rugby. Flow Rugby, I think, is an American thing.
Mm-hmm.
Claremont is on France TV, which we can't get because we're not in France. BN Sports, which I think is also mostly French, to be fair. Viaplay, Flow Rugby, and Premier Sports. And then our final home game against Edinburgh is S4C again, BN Sports and Flow Rugby. Our first game against Castra is on epcrrugby.tv, which is the EPCR's own broadcast. It's like their version of Rugby Pass TV, which you have to pay to use.
Yeah.
It's eight. Well, I was about to say it's £8. It's €8. They haven't put the cost in GBP. It's in euros. Now, I'm a Scarlet's podcaster. I'm not sure I want to pay £8 to watch
it absolutely tonked.
Well, no, because if Castra are doing well in the top 14, it kind of increases the chances of them just fielding the kids.
Yeah, but then they've got the strength in depth. They've got a really deep squad, and that's the danger, is they could put out a second team squad, and the only thing that we've really got going for us on that is that their second team won't have played together much.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas,
although there is a lot of rotation. Sorry, go on.
Well, no, if we go with the same team that played last Saturday, then you might hope that we'll know each other's name when we walk on the pitch this week. That's the bit that we've got going for us. Yeah,
although there is a lot of rotation going on in the top 14 this season. Teams are and people slag off the URC for this all the time, and it's just like, all you're doing is telling me that you don't watch other leagues. In the top 14, a lot of teams are doing a very home and away team, like that. Like I've talked about previously on here. The teams doing the URC. A lot of top 14 teams are going, at home we'll play our first team, and away we'll play our second team, and that's a consequence of leagues where you have down to 8 to get to the playoffs. Is that you only have to win half your games. And it's not just a URC problem. It's England obviously. I was going to say England. It's harder to get in the playoffs, but it's not, because there's only 10 of them.
There's only 10 of them now. So
yeah.
You literally need to not get relegated, and you're in the playoffs and in with a chance of winning.
Speaking of, sorry, go on.
No.
I keep interrupting you, mate. I was just like, speaking of getting into the playoffs, the way that Europe works these days is you have to go some to not qualify for the next round. Like, do you remember a couple of years ago we didn't win a game and we got through to the round of 16 because Toulon got all the way to Parker Scarlets and went nah, and went home again, and we got a walkover and we qualified for the next round off the back of that.
Yeah, I still, because they were there. The
they
team
were there.
Turned up.
They were in the changing room.
Yeah. And they're just
like, back on the bus.
How French is that? I do not like the feel of the grass. The grass is not green enough for me. I expect a French grass with the sunshine. Yeah. It was a weird one, wasn't it? But yeah. Okay, so let's do some predictions for this week then, because we haven't got Martyn here. Martyn said Scarlets to win by whatever. So go on, you do your Scarlets Castra.
I'm going to go 23-20 to the Scarlets.
Yeah.
3-point win.
Yeah. See, I know I've gone for a 1-point win on rap, but that was just to wind people up. I just get this nasty feeling about it. I don't know why, because I haven't seen any French rugby this year. It's just going on, clips.
I think Castor is like the only team I haven't watched from the top 14. So I couldn't tell you anything about them. I don't think they've got any particularly famous players. I don't think. Probably wrong on that. So I'm going to have someone correcting me now.
Oh, of course.
I got into an argument with a top 14 fan the other day on Twitter. Yeah.
Sometimes, though, it's good fun to have arguments with people, and then just as they're getting really, really angry, go, "Okay, you're right," and then you move on, and you just leave them there going, "No, I need to shout at you some more. I've got another 3 points that I've just spent an hour researching that I need to ram down your throat."
The best is when you reply to them and then they leave it for a day because they're trying to think of something to come back, and they come back like 24 hours later and they go, "Aha!" Yeah. You're like, "Yeah, no, it doesn't count if you leave it for a day." Although I have had it, I've had it with another guy where he just kept replying to me and he was talking rubbish, like not just like he disagreed with me. People were allowed to disagree with me, but he was coming up with like stuff that was like factually wrong, that you could Google it and telling me was wrong. So I was just like, sod this. And then he kept coming back for like a couple of days, like, "I see you haven't come back to me yet. Like, still nothing. Didn't think so." I'm like, chill out.
I had one once arguing about politics, and so I started a feed, and then sometimes you get like 3 or 4 people reply, and obviously they're replying to you, but then people reply to the reply, and you kind of like start to branch out. And I can't even remember what it was. But I put something out and it kept branching. And in the end, there were people arguing with people who were arguing. And I'd never even heard of who I was or didn't know that I was involved in this conversation. And I'm replying to it going like, "I don't know what you mean. I started this conversation about such and such." And they go, "Who the fuck are you?" I go, "Well, I started the conversation." Yeah. It got really bizarre.
I replied to Ben Nurse, who's an English journalist, who's a Sale fan, once, and then someone replied to me, and then someone replied to the person replying to me, and then those two started arguing, and I had to DM Ben and said, "I'm really sorry, I appear to have started an incredibly dull argument," and Ben would have been getting notifications for all of it.
Yeah. God bless social media. So, okay, so I'll do mine then. So I'm going to stick with a 1-point win. I think it's going to be a really boring match, and it'll be like 9-8 or something. Yeah. We'll have 3 penalties. They'll have a try and a penalty, and it'll be boring as hell. Or it'll be like 50 points to 49 or something like that, and everyone will lose count of what the score is halfway through, and all of this kind of malarkey. So yeah. 1-point win for the Scarlets, either 50-49 or 9-8. Could go either way.
Both of those are good scorelines.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, okay, I think we're hold up there, mate. Hold up just a moment. Look who's found this charger. Let's see. Is Martyn actually there? No, Martyn's not there. Martyn's still going to be connecting to his audio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can't see you.
No, you're not going to see me now. I'm hands free. I've just taken a little detour to pick up a charger. So I was here. I can't touch nothing.
We're literally about to finish up, Mark. So you can just.
Oh, how smart! Let's figure it out.
We can.
Yeah, Lee's frozen, I think.
Oh, have I?
Oh, Lee's frozen. That's not recurring this week, is it?
Yeah, I can still hear you two, though. Can you hear me? No.
Still, yeah.
You have my pretty face. Lee, are you there? Are you leaving again?
Yeah. Can you hear me? I could hear you.
Yes.
I could hear you when I was still talking to you. Right.
Oh.
Martyn, you've just broken the fucking meeting now.
Awesome.
Right. Really quickly, Mark, just give us your prediction, your score prediction for Cast and Scarlets on the weekend. I know you gave us Scarlets going to win by like 1 million points earlier, but genuinely, what do you reckon score's going to be?
I'll go 31-23 Scarlets.
Well, cookies. 31. That's an 8-point win. Okay, cookie. Right. Fantastic.
Did you talk about the Scrum 5 Ultimate Regional 15?
No, but we've had a few people talk about it on our timeline because somebody tried to say, why is Lee Halfpenny a Scarlet?
Mike Phillips, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, well, same reason that Mike Phillips is a blue. So, yeah.
So can we just address it quickly?
Go on then. Go on.
Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Just a bit of fun to end the pod. This Ultimate Regional 15 is a sham, right? This is
because they didn't listen to you when you said let's try and mess it up.
This is picked on what players did for Wales. The dead giveaway being that Sam Warburton's in there. Now, Sam Warburton obviously did amazing at international level. He played about 4 games for Cardiff.
Yeah, and got injured in 3 of them.
Yeah. So if I just run through 1 to 15. So Gethin Jenkins, fine. Ken Owens, Mr. Scarlet's fine. Adam Jones, Osprey, yeah, fine. Paul Tito, yeah, okay. Firstly, they put Tyg Byrne. Firstly, they spelled his name wrong. Secondly, they put him up against Alan Wynne Jones. If Tyg Byrne had been in the other one, and not against Alan Wynne Jones, Tyg Byrne would have been in this team. And he should have been.
Yeah.
Alan Wynne can't really argue. 6, Jerry Collins. Aaron Shingler wasn't even nominated for number 6. That's a disgrace.
Yeah, I kind of get it, but like I say, if it's based on Wales international performances and stuff, I kind of see that. But yeah, anyway, carry on. Go
on. So 7, Sam Wilson, like I said. Number 8, Felipe Faletau. I'd kind of argue that in regional rugby, Xavier Rush did more than Faletau because Faletau spent a lot of his good years at Bath.
Or injured.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Xavier Rush is a better player than Faletau. I think in regional terms, I think Xavier Rush did more.
Yeah, so if you're going to call it a regional team, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Number 9, Mike Phillips, fine. Number 10, Dan Bigger, fine. Shane, obviously. Jamie Roberts, number 12.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
How long was he at Cardiff for? Only about 5 years.
Yeah, it's long enough to cause damage, though. He's long enough to. Yeah,
I've just said Tyg Byrne should be, and he was only with us for about 3 years. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the quality. I think that the impact that Jamie Roberts had at Cardiff was immense. So yeah,
especially from fullback.
Yeah, I think he played 1 game there, didn't he, or something?
Who would be the other 12s? I think Gavin Henson would be another 12. Who would be in nomination? I'm not struggling to think of any others.
Well, if you go right back to
he done both.
Yeah, you go right back to the start. You're looking at Scott Gibbs. Scott Williams.
Scott Williams.
Yeah, Scott Williams has been an outstanding 12. There's been
Parks
a few.
Did a lot.
Yeah,
Parks. Yeah, and I'd say
I think you're pushing to get Parks. I think you're pushing to say Parks ahead of Jamie. To be fair.
No, I don't know. He was a more creative player. Anyway, 13 would be
Foxy. No argument. Number 14, Tommy Bowe.
He is the URC top try scorer.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It is. I think it's Tommy Bowe.
I think it is as well.
Yeah, definitely rings a bell.
And then number 15, Lee Halfpenny. Everyone knows Lee Halfpenny is my favourite player. I don't think he should be in this team because he had his best years at Cardiff on the wing, and he went to Toulon for ages, and then he was with us. He did great for us, and when he was on the pitch for us, he did really good. But he didn't spend a ton of time on the pitch for us. I would say both Liam Williams and Lee Byrne deserve to be considered ahead of Lee Halfpenny, and I would probably go Liam Williams should be all-time regional 15 because Lee Byrne spent a lot of time in France.
Yeah, but then you've also got that other players. No, just suppose Mike Raya was, that was pre-regionalisation.
Ben Blair's another one that gets mentioned a lot.
Ben Blair is.
Yeah,
Ben Blair was a fair play to him.
Yeah, and he's a player of some note in the records. So yeah, I think there's a lot of. I still say we should have spent more time trying to fuck up Scrum 5 and just get more random Scarlets players nominated. just
they
for the
stopped nominating them. I quote tweeted them and said, calling Scarlets fans to ruin this and just pick, because that's something that happens like in football a lot. Like fan bases just colonize a poll and ruin it. Newcastle fans do it all the time. It's great.
Yeah.
And then they stopped nominating Scarlets after that.
Told you, mate, it's the power of being an influencer. You're an influencer now. You're influencing the BBC to think about their polls more often so that they can't be sabotaged.
Scarlets haven't done a stats drop for a player since I gave them the eye.
Well, if they ever need anyone to do it, they know where to call, and we will happily do their social media for them.
Just quickly on that, we are slowly starting to hear of people involved at the Scarlets and players at the Scarlets who are aware of the podcast and us. Now we have reason to suspect that there is some kind of social media
blackout.
Don't. So if you are a Scarlets player listening to this, like, just to let you know, Ospreys players have all been following Ospreys Irie. Right.
Yeah.
So if you're a Scarlets player and you do follow us or listen to us or are aware of us in any way, but you're not allowed to publicly make it known that, just DM me. You have to follow me to DM me, so I'll know you're there. DM me, just like an emoji or something, just to like a shush emoji or something. So I know you're there, and then I won't slag you off in any podcasts.
We love you all. It doesn't matter who you are, even if we slate in your head at the back, we still love you. We'll still give you a big punch and a kiss if you come on.
Just DM me, like that, and then I'll say no more.
You just want Scarlets players to DM you, mate. I want them to come on here so we can talk to them and have a chat about the game and training and all that kind of stuff. You just want them to tweet you, so you can feel like you're amazing on Twitter. Look at me! Look who tweeted me!
Well, Mr. Leather Barrow liked something of Hugh's earlier, and he was all giddy in school, Cardiff.
Oh, look at me! Look what I've done! Look who likes me!
Yeah, and then I showed it to James, and James came back saying that Morgan Morris had DM'd him, so I was fuming.
Yeah. Well, like, I started all of the podcast, so within a week of starting the Cardiff one, we had the Cardiff club messaging the podcast and saying, "Hey, we'd like to interact. How can we work together?" The Ospreys one, we had the director, the commercial director on the second pod. He messaged me within an hour of the first pod going out. And he's like, yeah, because we were tweeting before, and we were like, the first pod's coming, bang, here you go.
Well, we do know that the Scarlets comms manager has a personal interest in everything I write. You've both seen the proof of that.
Yeah, let's not go there, Matt. Otherwise, we're going to get ourselves into trouble, and then I'm never going to be allowed to take my drums to Parker Scarlets. Right, let's knock it on the head for tonight, guys. It's been a fun one tonight. It always is after a sound thrashing of Cardiff Blues. So, long may that continue. And fingers crossed for a decent performance against Castro on Saturday. We shall come back. We shall do this all again next week again, gents. Over and over and over. For time eternal. Enjoy yourselves, gents. Have a good weekend. I'll speak to you next week. All the best.
Thank you, lads.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Scarlets Fever podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please subscribe, rate and review wherever you listen to us, as it really helps us spread the word. You can find us on all the usual social media channels or email us on welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. And remember, whatever the question, rugby is always the answer.
Social Podcast Network.